Good afternoon. This is Sergeant First Class Vos with the Enlisted Ordnance Branch here at HRC. And for this month's installment of the Ordnance Power Hour, we are going to discuss the Enlisted Assignment Volunteer Program. This came out on a MILPER message originally May 16th under MILPER 23-176. But then was recently updated on August 21st with MILPER 23-344. Now, what is the Enlisted Assignment Volunteer Program? The program itself is designed for soldiers and NCOs that are not in their appropriate market or necessarily have the appropriate time on station to be considered for reassignment. You can volunteer for such assignments as an OCT at a combat training center, an instructor at a TRADOC Center of Excellence, airborne duty, a short tour to an installation such as Korea, Kuwait, Jordan. It also covers SFAB, drill sergeant, and a recruiter. In order to apply for this, it is done through a PAR process in IPSE. The MILPER itself does outline where you need to send it, how you should send it, and also covers the regulations for each specific duty assignment. Now, this MILPER message is all-encompassing. It's not necessarily there for just CMF 89, 91, 94, although we are one of the largest career branches. This does pertain to everybody, all CMFs across the Army. I say that because if you know another NCO who has applied to be an instructor and say they're CMF 92, you can't apply with the same expectation or approval odds as compared to somebody else in a different MOS field. The best thing that you can do prior to submitting a PAR requesting one of these duty assignments is to talk to your talent management NCO, okay? Because first and foremost, we need to ensure that you're qualified, right? Because when you submit this PAR, it needs to go through your chain of command, through your battalion chain of command, through your brigade, routed up to HRC and all the way to Ordnance Branch. And in some cases, as it's happened already, is we turn around, hey, this soldier, this NCO is not qualified for this. And we have no contact with this NCO prior to this submission. So that was a lot of time that could have been saved by simply reaching out first and foremost. In addition to that, reaching out for, say, the DA Select Recruiter and Drill Sergeant. So drill sergeants and recruiters, you can just contact your talent management NCO, and if you're qualified, they can, at that time, submit you what we refer to as a branch release and what we have called the Position of Trust tool. And you won't have to go through the process of submitting a PAR to request those duties. Now, some of the restrictions before submitting a PAR, requesting one of these duty assignments, and it is covered specifically in the MILPER message itself. You have the opportunity to go and read it. If you are currently in a manning cycle, if you're currently in a market, you cannot utilize this program to try and obtain an instructor position, an OCT position, an airborne position. What we've been seeing since the release of this message is we'll have NCOs that are going to the market and they won't see anything that interests them. They'll see duty assignments that they don't necessarily want. And so we'll get requests mid-cycle and we unfortunately have to deny them because you're already in a manning cycle, and it's specific in here that you cannot be in a market when you submit this. Specifically what it states is NCOs must volunteer ahead of their enlisted market. All volunteer requests must be received by HRC no later than 45 days prior to the opening of the NCO's Ask M market. I know this conversation has been had before, but if you are unsure of what market you may fall into, again, reach out to your talent management NCO and we can provide you that information. Now, qualifications. We have to determine who is qualified, right? So let's say, first and foremost, we talk about strengths, right? So if we get a request for somebody requesting to be an instructor, the first thing that we're going to look at is strengths at that location. I'll use Fort Gregg Adams as an example. When you apply for, say, specifically for instructor, okay, there are requirements outlined in AR 614-200 of the minimum requirements to be an instructor. AR 614-200 will also cover minimum requirements to be an OCT. Now, what a lot of individuals don't understand is that there are POLHES requirements. There are GT score requirements, right? Now, you could go, like I said, you can go ahead and get into AR 614-200 and look it up yourself and kind of get just for some expectation management. But you'll also get the same information by reaching out to us here at HRC prior to submitting. Some of the benefits of this program, obviously, one, it gives soldiers and NCOs the opportunity to move prior to their cycle. If you feel as if you've been in a duty position too long or an organization is not necessarily being beneficial to your career development, and say you've never served in some of these broadening or generating assignments that this MILPER covers, you can apply for and potentially get one of these assignments. Now, on the HRC side, I see this as positive because it gives us an opportunity to conduct more effective talent management. Because previously, prior to this, a lot of these positions, I would say most of these positions, with the exception of SFAB, drill sergeant, and recruiters, those were filled in the market, solely in the market. And so quarterly, whatever pool we had that was going into that market to compete for these separate assignments, that's the only pool that we could utilize to fulfill those billets. The instructor positions at Fort Gregg Adams, we would have a pool of say 100 NCOs to go through and determine if they are the best fit for that position. Whereas with this is now it opens it up to everybody that is available and qualified, as we can conduct that talent management to ensure that the individual standing behind that podium at that schoolhouse is the best fit for that job. Just a note on the airborne duty, you do not have to be airborne qualified to apply. You do, however, have to be medically available and willing to attend airborne training. Airborne duty, I can speak specifically for CMF 91. A lot of those billets are already fulfilled and we're not experiencing manning shortages. But don't let that hold you back from reaching out and finding out, is there an opportunity? Is there any projected opportunity? Because if there is something if there's something out there for somebody that they're applying for and we have the ability to support it, then why not? Now, SFAB is covered under this MILPER as well. However, for if somebody is currently in SFAB or anybody that's working through that process now, there are other steps. Rather, it's not just a PAR that's going to get submitted to HRC into the career branch, and we say yes, this individual can be in the SFAB. I would say that the best opportunity for anybody that wants to serve in SFAB is to contact your nearest or local SFAB recruiter. I would say with that, again, what we discussed was the Enlisted Assignment Volunteer Program, which is covered under Milper Message 23-344. You'll never know if you don't ask, if you don't reach out and find out what you are or are not qualified for. Please reach out to your MOS specific talent management NCO. And with that, I will close out. Thanks again for tuning in. My name is, again, Sergeant First Class Vos. If you have any questions to what I talked about here or anything that you would like me to go a little deeper on, feel free to shoot me a Teams message or email me. But other than that, have a great rest of your day and go Ordnance.